Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Hey guys, we're so glad you're here today. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
We're excited to be here. Melanie and I are going to be teaching you a lot of wonderful tips and tricks for publishing and writing your book.
Yep. So what we're going to go through today while you're here is publishing can be so confusing. Even when Jen and I first started to try and learn publishing and how to publish books, we were confused. But, over the years, we figured out all the systems and kept up with what Amazon does, because that's the confusing part is Amazon changes all the time. So we're going to go over your mindset. What do you have to have for a mindset when you walk into this process? Go through the publishing process and things that are really super important, and some tricks and tips if you're going to do it yourself or you're going to hire a team like us or someone else to do it for you, what you should look for. And then marketing. So many authors get tripped up with the marketing and how to make money with their book. So we're going to walk through all of that with you today. And we're just so glad to have you here. And make sure you put questions in. If you have any questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. We'll do a little Q&A throughout the process as well. Won't we, Jen?
Yes, for sure. And I'm just double checking that it's streaming to Facebook, because it's saying we're not streaming to Facebook. So I don't know why.
Issues worked out.
Yeah, we might have to reconnect.
All right. So hang on, everybody, if you're there, if we have any listeners right now.
All right. Well, we'll just have to keep going. If you're trying to look on Facebook, okay, it's connected now. It just took a minute to fix.
All right. So I want to announce too that Jen and I are working on a new book. We don't have a title for it yet. So we are going through the process ourselves of writing and creating and setting that time aside once a week to create a chapter or so and work on a chapter of our book every week. And you really have to have a mindset to do this, because there's so many times, we will make excuses. Oh, I woke up late or something happened. I had a rough morning. I can't make the meeting today. And we know, since it's each other, like, we give each other grace to do that. And just like working out, you give yourself grace. Oh, well, I didn't sleep good last night. I'm not going to work out today. It's kind of the same thing with your book writing can happen. So you really have to have that great mindset when you're doing it. And how do you do that? So, first off, the most important thing is you have to tell yourself, I'm a writer. I'm a great writer. I am an author. I'm a best-selling author. So it's that self-talk of stepping into that. Even if you've never written a book before, I should say, especially if you've never written a book before, that you tell yourself, I'm an author. I'm a writer. I've got this. I can do this. And take a minute to really feel it in your nervous system. Jen and I just went through this emotional EQ training recently, and where you close your eyes, and I'm going to invite you to do this, like close your eyes, and they had you rub your fingertips together and just think about feeling that you are a writer. You are an author. Feel that go through your whole nervous system, from the top of your head in through your shoulders, your heart, especially your body, all the way down to your toes, that you're a writer, you're an author. You can do this. Don't let anyone derail you, or that, I call it that itty bitty lousy committee in your head that's trying to tell you, what if no one likes my book? What if it's a crappy book? What if no one reads my book? So you have to ignore all that and just write. You can always go back and edit. Don't stop and keep editing over and over again during the process. Just keep writing and tell yourself, when you hit that block, I got this. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I can do this. Even if I'm not been an author yet, I'm going to be an author. I am an author. Step into this. Have that great, great self-talk.
I love that, because if you're not in the right mindset and you don't have that self-talk, you're not going to be able to write or to do what you need to do to get your book done.
Yeah. And the other important thing is really to know your why. Like, why are you writing this book? Mm-hmm. And the why can be, maybe it's for you personally. It could be that you're leaving a legacy. It could be that, you just have these thoughts in your head and you want to get them out. But we suggest too, it needs to be bigger than yourself. Right. And it can't just be for someone else. Right. I have my son who is like, yeah, Mom, I'm going to start working out because you want me to work out. Well, that's not going to last. Right. He's going to do that enough to get me off of his case. And then he's going to go back to doing whatever he was doing before because it's not for him. So you got to make it for you and for a strong enough reason that you feel it's going to move you forward. So, is it that it's going to change somebody's life by reading your story? Is it that if you're writing a memoir and you're going to write a legacy piece, that's for generations to come in your family, that they're going to know your story? Is it going to change your business and grow your business? By growing your business, you're going to change all your employees' lives, and the people that you're serving, their life you're going to change as well. So, come up with that reason why. Is it for your kids? Is it to create more income? What is your reason why that it changes your life, that you want to propel to do that book? Because if you lose the reason why, then that also can derail your momentum.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know your why. Like, a lot of people will be writing a book because they want to share their message. Other people want to write a book so they can build their business and sell more packages. I mean, there's lots of reasons why you want to finish your book or get your book done, but you really have to know what that is and just hone in on that why.
Yeah, Jen, talk a little bit about vulnerability, why someone needs to be vulnerable and authentic, and tap into that, because, it's easy to say, but there's a mindset that goes into being vulnerable and authentic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think with any book, whether you're writing a memoir, a nonfiction, whatever you're writing, if it's a how-to book, if you're not vulnerable, if you're not authentic, then as people are reading your book, they're going to know, right? Like, you're not telling it all, right? You got to get into that vulnerability and really go deep. And that's how you're going to touch your readers. That's how you're going to share your emotion with the reader. And if you're not going to be sharing that emotion, then it's not going to be as compelling of a book, right? So you really want to get deep into that authenticity and be your true self. So the authenticity and the vulnerability. A really great video we share all the time is Brene Brown's video on vulnerability. Because if you're not vulnerable and you're not really telling all and you're kind of surface level, then you're not going to connect with people because they want to feel the same feelings that you had when you're telling your experience, so that they can say, that's kind of like what happened to me, or I know someone that that happened to.
So you may be saying, that's great, you're telling me to be vulnerable and authentic, but what's the mindset to get there? How do I get myself to be there? So I tell this little story of, you have friends that maybe just drive by and say hi, or people you don't really know, right? Like the delivery for DoorDash. So you're not necessarily inviting him in your house, but he's doing a service for you. And then you have people, maybe you're having a party. I've had baby showers at my house for friends, and they come into the main area of my house, but I'm not letting them into my master bedroom, or God forbid, see some of the drawers in my bedroom or closet, right? That might not be organized or not. So, but those people are the special people that you have, that, that special girlfriend or guy friend that you're like, oh yeah, come back, I'll show you, my collection of whatever guns, or I have perfume bottles in my bedroom that I'll come in and I want them to see that part of me and that part of my personality. So the mindset really is that you're talking to that one person that is your best friend, that you're willing to share those secrets of things that happen to you that maybe aren't so pretty. That's the muddy part. I have that whole part of my bad divorce that I went through, that my ex-husband filed and put everything in bankruptcy and caused a whole tailspin of everything exploding and crashing and burning. And it's not really something I want to tell just everybody, that someone that I just meet, like, hey, this happened to me, right? Like, you don't just tell a new acquaintance that. So you have to act like it's somebody you really know, that's in your inner circle, that you're talking to. So that's the mindset that you want to have for being that authentic person, right? That you can really let your hair down with them, and that you can really tell them the things that you wouldn't tell everybody else. But as Jen said, that's what makes you relatable in the book. That's what makes people connect with you. And they go, oh my gosh, like, that's happened to me too. This person can relate, and look at, they survived that, or, they still had success about that, or they're still even fighting through it, which is okay too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you also want to make sure that you're writing to the one person. So like Melanie was saying, imagine it being somebody that you know that you're telling the story to. And if you're talking to that one person and you're using that language like you, instead of they or them or we, you have to be talking to the you, right? So when you are writing the book, then you want to be talking to that one person.
Yep. And I will say, like, some writing tips or that is of the mindset of setting a schedule for yourself of what works best. If it's in the morning, afternoon, or night, that you can have that quiet time to do that, and getting your mind also at the end, visualize the result. Like, how will that change my life? Like, once my book is out, what is it going to feel like to hold that book in my hand? What is it going to feel like when someone reads the book and gives me a comment of, wow, your book really impacted me? So that's when you're feeling that writer's block, or you just don't feel like writing today. Think about that. You've got your book, you're showing your book, and the impact that it's made on people's lives. I was like, when we had a book that I published, I know I've told the story before of, someone in a Japanese prison, U.S. citizen in a Japanese prison, got my book and wrote to me how inspired he was that he was going to tell his story, that he felt that he was wrongfully imprisoned. Never in my million years would I have thought that I would have that kind of global outreach. But with a book, that's what you get. So when you think about that, that can keep you going and saying, yes, I know I'm going to make an impact to the world, and I've got to continue on to write this book, and get you motivated to do it on the schedule that you want to do it.
Yeah, I like that you talked about that with time. We just had a book writing challenge for the last 2 weeks. If you weren't a part of that, or if you want to be a part of it next time, then let us know by commenting, or you can go back to the challenge page and register for the next one. But I think all of the people who are in that challenge, writing challenge every day, whether it was 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever time you set up for yourself, you really had to be in that mindset to be ready. So Melanie, now let's talk about publishing. So let's talk about a little bit about publishing and like how it works with traditional publishing, hybrid publishing. How does it all work?
So many of us struggle. Jen and I even struggled when we first started, right? We learned how to publish. And when we got into this business, it was just the transition where Amazon was offering self-publishing to people. And we knew nothing about it. I never dreamt of being a published author. I had a girlfriend from the auto show days. We used to be models at the auto show. And she had written a children's book. And this was back like in, I don't know, like 2005, 2004. And it was something she had pulled out from when she was a kid, that she had written this little kid's book and she was going to publish it. And she was trying to shop it around to get a publisher. And she goes, you should write a book. You should think about writing books. I bet you have things, because she was so inspired that she'd come up with this, that I should do it. And I'm like, oh, I'm never writing books. And now I'm a 15-time best-selling author. Crazy, right? Who would have thought about that?
And a Wall Street Journal bestseller.
Oh, yes. And a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. So, a lot of us think traditional publishing, that's what we grew up with. And there's a big hurdle to get over that. And traditional publishing, in not just our opinion, but in a lot of other opinions, is becoming a lot like Blockbuster in the day. It's not staying innovative. It's really honing you in and locked into their parameters. What they decide for your book is what they decide for your book. So like, if they don't want to do a paperback version, they're not going to give you a paperback version. It doesn't matter. They expect you to spend so much money in marketing. We did a whole, I think, podcast on this too. You have to have a certain, at least 10,000 followers that are active, so much engagement, et cetera, et cetera. So we're finding that it's really, if you want to get your book out there, that it's really between doing it yourself or hiring a publishing company to do it for you. So what are the ins and outs? Why should you do it yourself, or why should you hire someone to do it for you? And what do you look for when you are hiring someone to do it for you? So I kind of equate it to building a house or remodeling a room in your house. So you have to decide, if you're not necessarily tech savvy, or maybe you are a little tech savvy, you still have to learn those traits and trades and skills to teach you how to publish a book and then market a book. And again, I mentioned earlier, Amazon is changing all of the time. So equate it like, let's say you're going to add a new bathroom or a new rec room onto your house. Well, you have to learn how to frame something. You have to learn how to tile something. Do you want to learn how to be a plumber? Do you want to learn how to be an electrician? So you have to learn all those things if you're going to do it yourself. I was recently up in northern Michigan. I grew up in Michigan, and we have a cottage up there on Green Lake. And one of the neighbors is building an outbuilding. And it's framed in, and I had not met him before. And he came over to visit with me, and he's like, yeah, I'm building this myself. He goes, I've been working on it for 18 months. I'm like, wow. Because I'm trying to get my grandson to help me. I think he's going to come out today, but kids today. And so it's going to take him a long time. It's already taken him 18 months to get this room built. So, time is of the essence if you want to figure all this out yourself. Finding the trades, or even if you want to be like the general contractor, you have to find a good plumber. You have to find a good tile layer. And I don't know about you, but I've had my pool done recently. I've even bought a new house for as an investment recently. And, they don't respond to me. So I'm like, hey, my pool is messed up. It still doesn't look good. What's going on? And then no call for 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, I was out of town. Oh, this didn't happen. So I had my pool done in March and it still isn't right. And I'm in July. They're still working on it. Right. And it's having someone respond to you. At least he's now responding to me. The builder that I bought the house from, JBD Builders, I follow them. It's been over a year and they have not corrected the problems that they warranty about the house. And it's just so frustrating. And they'll go weeks and weeks with going into a black hole. So you want to have subcontractors that are reliable, that are going to respond to you, that do a great job. So you have to research all of them. And the same goes for if you hire a publishing company, you want to have a great publishing company that is responsive to you, that is going to keep you in the loop. That they are going to treat you like an individual and have great customer response. Like I couldn't imagine us not talking to a client for a month, Right. If they're in the publishing process, during the publishing process, we're connected to them usually once a week or more. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I'm going to share this story. Well, Jen, you should share the story where an author's book got taken down for some reason.
Yeah.
This author has already worked with us. Her book had been up for like a year, right?
Right. Yeah. So what season it is in the last, pretty much since COVID, the season has been you're canceled, right? So they keep canceling everybody, right?
Right.
Well, Amazon has randomly decided to just shut people's accounts down for no reason or for one reason or another. And it can be as small of a reason as you have 2 Amazon accounts, which makes zero sense. Like, okay, well, wouldn't you want me to have more than one so I can buy lots of stuff? Like, I don't understand. But like whatever reason, her book was taken down. And so she called us and said, hey, my book that you published last year isn't on Amazon anymore. And so I had to be innovative and think outside the box and figure out how to get her book back up on Amazon, because Amazon was pretty much saying, you can't have an account with us anymore. And so we thought outside the box and we figured out how to get her book back up there. And now her paperback book is back on Amazon, so people can buy it from Amazon.
But I really want you to appreciate this. So Nicole worked with us over a year ago. She reached out to us, and this is the kind of customer support that we give. We didn't charge her a penny. Our team spent at least 40 hours working on this, emails back and forth, phone calls, trying different things, uploading her book different ways to get her book back up and published. So I don't know about you, but that's the kind of response I want for someone that I'm going to do business with, that I know they're going to be there a year, 2 years, 5 years afterwards and support me and give me technical support of whatever I need that is there, and do it with a smile on your face, right? We're like, oh man, well, we're not going to do that. Well, we're going to charge you $10,000 if we're going to do that. We did that just out of our heart because, we felt horrible for her.
Amazon is the number one place to buy books. And if your book isn't on there, I mean, yeah, her book is available on Barnes & Noble and all those other places, but people are going to be searching for it on Amazon. So
yeah, and I want to put a caveat in there, and we think some of this is happening because Amazon is transitioning to using AI and bots, that they're just going through, and if they find something, it just like clicks it and pulls it off. And again, it's like in those 10 pages of verbiage of terms and conditions that nobody ever reads, that's in there of what you're doing. So if you're going to do it yourself, then you're going to have to deal with things like that come up.
Yeah, and I want to tell another story about one of our authors, Jay. So he was just trying to order books. And so he contacted us to say, hey, I just need to help ordering the author copies, because sometimes it can be a little confusing on where you go to buy them and how you get into the back end to buy the author copies at the print price, right? So not buying them retail on Amazon, but the author copies. So they called us and asked us, hey, can we get these author copies? So I was looking to get the author copies ordered. And I noticed on his Amazon author page that he had all these weird books on there. So he had a similar name to someone else, and they had written a bunch of like romantic fiction, kind of like sketchy, like pole
Kind of
dancers on the cover.
kind of pornographic. They were kind of
Yeah.
and
Pole dancers, and he is kind of a public figure. He's running for office and stuff. So in his community, and so I, jumped in and got onto Amazon, called Amazon, and said, "Hey, these books are not my book, and we need to get, or Jay, this is not his book." So we got those all taken down so that his author page doesn't show, his a most amazing American storybook, and then all these other pole dancing books.
yeah, so you just don't know. And again, we didn't charge him for that. We just took care of it for him because he's part of our family and one of our authors. So when you're doing your book, so you have to consider self-publishing. I think if you're really savvy, I mean, we have authors that come to us that have self-published, and I give them kudos, congratulations that they've done it and got books up and even multiple books up. But then we had an author come to us recently. It's like, our book is up, but we didn't really know what we're doing. They don't have an Amazon author page, which is important. So make sure you get an Amazon author page when you do it, because it's extra SEO that Amazon's going to give you. They didn't have what's called A+ content, which is all this graphic content you can put on your sales page for your book. So there was a multitude of things that weren't connected of details, and they'd done no marketing of their book, didn't have any idea what they should do.
Did they have any editorial reviews on their sales page for their book?
No editorial reviews, no call to action in their book. So all these little things that we know because we've done this for years. And again, stay on the cutting edge of innovation of what's going on and what works. So he's like, "Oh, I just need to hire you guys." He goes, "Because I've done it myself, and yay." And actually their cover looks pretty good. I will give them credit. Their cover looks pretty good. That's another thing, please have a professional designer do your cover. I mean, you can go to places, Canva has some stuff, but then sometimes it still doesn't look right. If you're not a graphic designer, it still doesn't look right. So, and you can go to a place like Fiverr and they will do covers. But again, you got to really be careful because sometimes they're using templates and it just doesn't look good. Jen has a graphic. We'll show you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can show the graphic, but I was going to say the other thing with hiring someone who may not know exactly what they're doing is they'll create a cover for you and just give you that JPEG image. And you're thinking, great, I have my cover. But you know what? When you go to publish your book, it can't be a JPEG, right? It can for an ebook, but not for a paperback. So you really want to make sure that they know what they're doing. They know how to create the right files, the right file type, the right resolution, there's a lot to it. And graphic designers know. But if they're pretending to be a graphic designer or, they're $5 for the cover, you most likely are not going to get exactly what you need.
Well, and then you're in there, it's like you're a sea of different people in Fiverr and you don't know who's good. You don't have a recommendation or referral of, "Hey, I've used this guy a bunch of times. I know he's great." You're just kind of poking in the dark to see who's good and who's not. And sometimes you're going to spend more money because you're getting different coverage. You're like, "Oh, these are horrible." Right. So, and you might luck out and get a couple good ones, right away.
Yeah. So here's an author that came to us and he had his cover done on his own. And then we redid it for him. And this was like 7 years ago or something. How long ago? Yeah. 6 years ago. Yeah. So, just so you know, like where the timeline of this, but this looks really good. The clouds look so much better than that was actually his backyard, which he has an amazing backyard, but it doesn't really go with the theme of the book or the title. Yeah.
And if you want more tips on book covers, we have some videos on book covers and trends in book covers because we always are doing that. We're walking into bookstores. I love airport bookstores because they have all these covers. And I recently went to Reese Witherspoon's shop. She's big about books as well and does book reviews. And I did some shots of the books that she had there of what's trending, of the bright colors and kind of that 1950s like pastel-y bright colors that are trending. So if you want more information, look at that. And you should do what's trending. Like, we don't want your book to look like 1990, right? Your book cover. It needs to look current with the current trends, fresh and what's hip and what's going on now. My kids are funny. They're all saying, "Oh, that's so 2020." And I'm like, that's only 3 years ago. But that's how fast things move. Like, "Oh yeah, that's so 2020, that video or style of clothes." I think that's really hilarious when they're talking about that. So yeah, you want to make sure you have a good cover and that you get good resources, get referrals. If you're doing it yourself, please put the time in and do the research. We had an author recently that signed with us. And I love him, Lee Glover, because he's like, oh yeah, I watched all your videos. I watched all this stuff. I'm educated. I already have this done because we have our list of things that an author provides for us too. And we work together with them. He's like, I did that already. My homework's done. My homework's done. I did that before I even signed up with you. So do your research, whether you are doing it yourself or even when you're hiring a publishing company, really check them out. Check a publishing company's social media out. Check their YouTube videos. Look at their website. Another search I just did, someone went with a publisher recently, and I went on Amazon and put the title of their publishing company up to see what books came up because I wanted to see what books that they had published. And out of 2 pages of Amazon, only 2 books came up. And they weren't, one was on the first page, one was on the second page. And I'm like, how does that happen? So I put our name in, and the whole page was filled with our books that we published. And how do you tell who a book is published by? You click on the book, right? And then you scroll down to the bottom where they have the information about the ISBN number, and it'll say the publisher's name right there. So you can see, so put a publisher's name into Amazon and check out their books and see how they're doing and how they're trending. And if they have beautiful content, what their book descriptions look like. They will put some books up on their website. Check it out there too. But it's just interesting to do that kind of reverse engineering search. So things you should look for in a publishing company. First of all, check them out. Check the owners of the company out. Do you like them? Are you going to be working directly with them? If not, who are the people they're going to be working with? Do you have a good relationship? We always say, they say, what's your criteria? Well, one of our main criteria is we want to feel like we want to hang out with you guys. Mm-hmm. And a big compliment that we've had is we've had many authors invite us to go on weekends with them or retreats with them. Come to my home and visit. Oh, I'm going to my home in Colorado for the summer. Why don't you come up for a weekend? Oh, I'm having a girls retreat. Why don't you come? Recently, one of our authors, Bob, invited me to his home in South Carolina. So I'm like, that's the kind of relationship we want to have with the people that we work with. So, think about that too. You want to be able to say, at least I want to have a cup of coffee with this person and hang out with this person, or the people of this company. Like they have that good vibe. I remember taking my kids to go visit colleges, and some colleges right away, they're like, nah, I'm just not feeling it, Mom. Not feeling it. And then they go to I remember when my son went to Baylor, he's like, oh yeah, this is it. He called me. I wasn't even there with him. He went with friends and he's like, this is the place, Mom. I can just tell it's got a good vibe. I just feel like I love it. I can tell by the energy of the people. So you want to make sure that you have that you have that good fit with the publishers that you're going to work with. And I remember actually there was a CPA company. It was kind of an online company. They had written books. And we'd had a couple conversations with the guy that was talking about what they delivered. And I felt like we had that rapport, and it was for some of my son's businesses. And then it came out that, oh, no, he was just a sales guy. We weren't going to work with him at all. Yeah. And I said, oh, well, can I talk to the person that we're going to be working with? Because I want to make sure that we're aligned. Oh, no, we don't know who that is yet. And I can't have you talk to them. We're just going to pick them out. And you have to spend money with us first before we're going to connect you with the person you're working with. I'm like, well, no, I'm not doing that then.
And that's almost similar to just working with someone, in a cubicle that you don't even know their name, And so that's not good because you don't know if they're going to give you the right, the good value, the good content, the good, the best service that you want, right? The service that you could deserve. I mean, you spend all this time writing your book. You don't want to just throw it up on Amazon and hope it sells and wish and pray,
Yeah. And then, there was an author who was considering going with us, and he went with another company. His book's not out yet. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. He went with a company that's an expert on Shopify. Mm-hmm. And they published a few books. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, we're experts at publishing, right? And how to use your book and how to market your book and how to use it for your business. I
don't know why you'd want to use, if they're experts at Shopify, if you have a book, you wouldn't be able to use Shopify unless you had like 1,000 books in your garage and you're going to ship them yourself. Like to sell your books, like that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, he has a product that he's selling. So maybe he's like through Shopify, they're going to print the books cheap and put it with the product and sell it in Shopify. But maybe, I don't know.
But either way, I would rather do like what we do, which is print on demand, because print on demand, if your book is on Barnes & Noble or on Kobo.com or Walmart or Target or Amazon and anyone buys it, you just make the money. You don't have to order the books, get them out of the box, put them in an envelope, put like the slip in there, print the label, walk to or drive to the post office, like all the things you have to do to ship one book might take you 15 minutes to an hour, depending on where you live and what you're, and what tools you already have, what resource you have. You might have to buy a printer, you might have to buy all these different things, a label maker, all this stuff. Well, and I just think that just seems like a waste of time, especially you can be doing so many more things and print on demand. I mean, that's why Amazon ships it for you and has prime shipping. Like what?
Well, and then you have all that money tied up in books. Like if you order 1,000 books, depending how big your book is, do you want to have $5,000 to $30,000 tied up in book inventory if you're not sure where that inventory is going? You can do a fulfillment house. So they're thinking, oh, well, I got the books cheaper than what I could get them on Amazon or Ingram. But I don't want to fulfill the order. So then you're paying a fulfillment house to, they do a storage fee plus fulfillment fee, blah, blah, blah. Same with Amazon. You can send the books to Amazon and they'll charge a fulfillment fee and all that. That's another way that you can do it, which people don't think about. But again, it's just so much easier if you have print on demand, I think is a better way to go.
Right. Yeah, I think that kind of publishing just makes more sense to me.
Yeah. So I think one thing that when you're choosing to either do it yourself or have someone else do it, there's a speed to market, right? So you're saving time. Yes, you're going to spend money to pay someone to do it. But you have to say, what is the value of my time? How much is my time worth to do that? And to have it done right, know that it's done right. But again, you have to do your research because we've had authors come to us that were with not good publishers and they spent money and then they didn't get anything for it. So be very, very careful. I hate to say this, but publishing can be a little dicey world out there because there's people like, oh, anyone can publish a book. I'll just put a shingle out there and publish a book for people. And also we do Wall Street Journal bestseller and Amazon bestseller. So make sure that you choose a publisher that you know is going to work with you to make your book a bestseller.
Yeah.
Go to all that effort. It's a shame that your book's just going to sit there and not have that traction. So it really makes a big difference. And it's important to be a bestseller. Some people say, well, why do I need to be a bestseller? Steve Beagle, architect, was his book. It's like, well, do I really need to be a bestseller? And I'm like, well, Steve, you're a renowned architect. You've got all these other awards that you've won. So you're going to walk into a meeting and give them your book. Imagine walking in and just handing them your book, or imagine walking and handing your book and saying my book was a bestseller.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And what do you think that future client is going to think? Oh, wow, he's a best-selling author too.
Yeah. Well, we've got a bunch of questions in the comments, so let's address some of those. Let's address Lisa's first.
Okay.
What service do you provide to assist the success of the book? So we do the full package. So to assist with the success, we make sure you become a best-selling author. We have made all of our authors 100% best-selling authors. And that's on Amazon or on the Wall Street Journal list. So Amazon has a best-selling book list. They actually have 3 or 4 different lists. They have a best-selling ebook list. They have a best-selling book list. They have a hot new release ebook list and a hot new release book list. And then, of course, Wall Street Journal has a #1 best-selling, who's selling the most books, the top 10 or it's a top 100, I think. But we've done the top 10 in the Wall Street Journal for all the authors who have opted into the Wall Street Journal. And we've made all of our authors #1 on Amazon, and usually in 3 or more categories. And so it's really important. The other services we provide is the full publishing package, book cover, formatting, publishing, making sure your book is everywhere online, distribution, everywhere books are sold, including libraries. And then the marketing side to it, right? Like how to market the book, what to do after the book comes out, how to get reviews, the whole package.
So I'll walk you through, and we'll make an offer at the end. We're doing a special publishing package for this webinar or for our training today. So like Jen said, on the publishing side, you're going to get coaching, which is real important. You're going to be working with our team one-on-one. You'll be on calls with Jen. You may be on calls with me and our publishing team. You should at least have an ebook and a paperback minimum right? Don't just do an ebook. You need to have that physical book as well. And then we work with you with the title and subtitle and all the keywords. You may already have a title, which is great, but then we want to make sure that subtitle has all the keywords and explains what your book is, the problem it's solving, and the benefits of the book. So it's really loaded. And then on the back end, we make sure, go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say, let's show them. So this is our title formula. So we actually spend like a whole meeting just on the title and the subtitle to make sure that you have what you need to make sure that your book can be found, right? We don't want your book title to be My Story, because that's very generic, right? So you want to have a title that actually explains what your book is about so people can find it.
Yeah. And so then also we'll do, a custom book cover like we talked about. So you're going to have a beautifully done cover. The back cover is going to have everything it's supposed to have on it, a book description, some editorial reviews will be on there. Your photo will be on there. So we know exactly, because authors are like, well, what is supposed to go on the back cover of my book? So we got you. We know what that is. You'll get the A+ content, which is that extra visual is what you want. A book video trailer. We love doing book video trailers. We put them on YouTube. You get to use them on your social media and use that over and over again. And then you get your author profile. And then it's also really important that you do a press release, right? So we provide a press release for our authors that we send out on the wire so everyone can pick that up. And then for future use, we make a media kit for you. So a media kit, I call it a kit, but it's really a one sheet that has all this information about you. If you want to be a speaker, or if you want to send it up to be for a consulting gig or something, or for people to buy your book. So it has this little one sheet with you it's a comprehensive one sheet. That's why we call it a kit. So you can get media attention. Let's say you want to be on TV or get interviewed. I used to own a TV station, and we always loved people who were authors. We would have people come on as contributors that were authors way ahead of people who were not authors because they were perceived as experts.
Yeah.
And then we promote you. We promote you on all our social media.
Yeah. We have a couple more questions. I think most of our services you can find on our website too. But I can't read your name very well, but you do marketing service and mini vlogs. So that's really cool. Looks like you're going to be doing a Kindle coloring book for ages 4 to 7. That's great. Good for you. I think that's great to have a coloring book and your book. So having both, I think that's a great idea. And then we have one other question. How do you get your book in bookstores? So I can answer that one. So when we publish a book with any of our authors, your book is everywhere that books are sold online, meaning every bookstore website has your book on it. The top 5, the big 5, like Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, and then they're also on Walmart, Target, all those places. But if you want your book to be in the inside the bookstore, like the brick and mortar store, then we have that media kit Melanie was talking about that has all the information on one sheet of your book and you and everything about it. So you can easily walk into any Barnes & Noble. All the Barnes & Nobles now, all of the managers of the Barnes & Nobles are the ones who order the books. So you basically say, I would like to talk to the manager, and you hand him your one sheet and you say, I would like to, have this book on your shelves. How do we get that done? I'd like to buy this book. I am the author, and you can talk to them. And some of them even have signing parties where they'll have local, like here in Utah, they have one called Author Palooza. And I don't know if they still do it, but they did it years before. And they'll have where you can come and they'll have ordered your books, and, you can bring your signage and sit there and sign books. And they have, all the authors from the Utah or from the area come. So, you want to walk into bookstores and you want to give them that one sheet. Even mom and pop bookstores love that because they love featuring local authors. We have an author in Colorado that put her book in, I think it's Colorado Springs, that she put her book
Vail, Colorado, and Vail.
In Vail, and in a small little bookstore. And people love it, that they have, here's some local authors, right?
Well, let me take that even a step further. So when you do that, if you're walking in or mailing it in, make sure you give books with it. So one of our authors walked in with 3 books, right? And they put the books right on the shelf. The other thing is you have to make sure your book is distributed with Ingram. So if you're only doing Amazon, like if you're self-publishing, you're like, well, I put my book on Amazon. Bookstores cannot put your book in their bookstore because
they don't like ordering. Right. They don't like ordering from Amazon.
They only order from Ingram.
Yeah.
Ingram is the bookstore catalog that all bookstores order from. So make sure your book is published with Ingram.
Yeah, the reason why they don't, the smaller bookstores don't like Amazon is because they could have an Amazon store and sell books, and a lot of them do, but they don't like ordering the books from Amazon, because Amazon, if they don't sell the books, they have to eat the books, meaning they have to just keep that cost, right? They have to just, that cost is just, if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell, and that money's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're ordering it from the catalog, some of them have returns. So it just kind of depends, right?
So my advice is to start organically, like Jen said, like if you have a connection in your community, start with your community ones because they like local authors, and get some traction going with book sales. And then you can reach out and make that circle bigger and send it out to everyone like, hey, the Barnes & Noble here in Utah or in Houston is carrying my book, and they sold X amount of books this month. So would love to have my book with you. So that's the type of thing that you need to do.
Mm-hmm. We have another question here. Do we publish photographic books, not just text? So we do that. It's a lot higher cost for printing the books, and it's just a lot different in formatting. So formatting a book with just pictures, it's more of a picture book than an actual book. Mm-hmm. But we do children's books, which is mostly pictures. And so we can do picture books or coffee table books. It's just different. It's different in how you market it. It's different in how you lay it out. And it's a little bit different in how you sell it, right? Mm-hmm. And also the pricing is just really high because usually you want full color, you usually want hardback, and the pricing to print it, instead of just, $3 or $4 to print the book, it's more like, $15 to $25 to print the book. And so you really just have, like, some people are like, oh, I want this coffee table book and I want to retail it for $30. And it's like, you're going to buy it for 25. So you're going to make like 1 penny. So you probably won't want to do that. So it's just different. It's just different. And then we have one other one here. What are the benefits of Google Play books? So Google Play is another place you can get ebooks. So we, like we said before, we like your book to be everywhere. So if your paperback book is everywhere books are sold online, your ebook should also be everywhere that books are sold online. So we want to make sure your ebook is on Google Play, which we do publish it there. Mm-hmm. Apple Books, Kindle, Nook, which is Barnes & Noble, Kobo, which is just ebooks, all those ones. Hoopla. There's so many different book apps that people read their books on, and we want your book to be on all of them. And we have one other one, let's see, from Sherry. She wants to know if we charge a fee.
We do. So we have a publishing package that we're offering right here, which is an ebook and a paperback book. I don't know if Jenny, if you want to throw it up real quick, and then we can go back to it with details. But it's a publishing package you can start with $500, and then there's a payment plan if you want. Mm-hmm. And it's a $12,000 package that we normally sell for over $15,000. And that gives you an ebook and a paperback and pretty much everything that we talked about. So the link, you can put the link up there and they can go to the link on it.
Yeah, so you can go to elitebestseller.com to check it out. And do you want to just kind of tell them the differences, or I can pull up the website?
Yeah, and the other thing is we have other packages more advanced than that. This is kind of our basic package. And we've realized that we're not near as expensive as other publishing packages, and we give you a lot more for the money. But we do have packages up that include audiobook and hardback book as well, and more intense marketing if you're interested in that. But this is the offer that we're making today.
Yeah, I'll share my screen and then you can go through it.
Yeah. And we just kind of walk through it. And then I want to talk about too, why she's pulling that up, is the marketing side. And so many people get trapped in the royalty rat race of, but I mean, I just had this conversation yesterday. Well, if I do this, then I'm only going to make $2.50 royalty. If I do this, I'll make $3.25 royalty. And I'm like, we're talking about pennies here, right? That we're cents worth, and the difference of doing that. And I say, let's move your focus. Like, you've got the book, you're going to be #1 bestseller. Now let's move that focus over to how else is that book going to work for you, for a nonfiction author. Even fiction, we come up with ways to generate 5 figures, 6 figures for you. So this particular author wants to do consulting overseas. And so now his market will be bigger. And I told him the story of a dog trainer that wrote a book, and he was only training in California. And because of his book, he got hired in Dubai for $20,000 by a royalty member in Dubai to train their dogs. So that's where you got to be thinking. Don't get caught up in my $3.25. Get caught up in how can I turn this into 5 figures, repeated income that's going to come in because of my book, different clients or a course that you're going to build, different things that you can tie that into. So we really work with that mindset, and it's, I hate to say this, but not that I hate to say this, I'm proud to say this, that we really we tie in business consulting with you along with this, because your book is a business and it's not just about the royalties.
Right. Well, let me share my screen now. So I don't know if you guys could see it before, but I had it up there. So I don't know if you can't see it, Melanie, but I can go through it. So we have our publishing service on the left, which is basically all the things you get with publishing. And it's a concierge book publishing service, meaning we do it for you. And then on the right-hand side, we have our marketing and branding, and that's also done for you. So these are all of the things you get. So basically full publishing for an ebook and paperback book, including a bestseller campaign, and including, coaching calls, helping you with the subtitle, helping with the design and formatting, keywords, all ISBN, all the things that come with book publishing. And then on the marketing side, you get the book video trailer, media kit, press release, interview on our podcast, the Elite Publishing Podcast, and also inside of our bookstore. And you would get promoted on our social media. And then we have an author portal that you also get service for. And then our bonuses, we actually have some bonuses for if you sign up with us today, which is our social media playbook. So inside our social media playbook, you get an author calendar, hashtag secrets, and social media tips. That's a huge thing. And then we also give 10 custom social media posts. So that's a bonus that we don't normally give with our publishing package, our ebook and paperback publishing package. Normally you don't get social media posts done for you, and you get 10 with this. So you can check that out. It's at elitebestseller.com, and you can go and get all of your questions answered on there. Let's see if there's any other questions we have.
Yeah, I'll put that in the, if I put it in the chat, will everyone be able to see that link, Jen?
If it's in the chat for everyone. Oh, you put it in the private chat.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
You want to try it in the main chat, or I can?
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat.
I have to just join.
It looks like we have a couple other
questions.
I think the last question is just asking if we can review their book. So he's asking, do you do reviews, like a 15-minute review of the book if it's already on Amazon?
So normally what we'll do is, it's like you come to us and you're thinking about working with us. We have you send us some chapters. If your book is already on Amazon, then you have like a 20-minute consultation with us. Like if you're wanting to inquire about our services, and I'll kind of go over and think about what you need. We have a package for authors whose book is already out. We do a couple of things. You can do a bestseller campaign. So we have where we just make your book a bestseller and relaunch it. And then we have a bestseller with a marketing package. So 2 options on there. And with the marketing packages, we're really analyzing, doing an author analysis and business analysis. So it might include the website that you have already, what's going on with all of your book description and your Amazon author page, and really doing a dive into that, looking at your social media, doing a social media analysis. So we have a couple options for that. So you can put my calendar link in there too, Jen, if you want. Or actually, I think I can. I don't know if you have it. I think I have it pulled up, and I think I'm now in the all chat part. So I can probably stick that in there if someone wants to connect with me.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah, and normally we charge $15,000. So today we're actually doing that for $12,000. So it's $3,000 off, and you just need to put in a $500 deposit today to hold your spot. We're only taking 5 authors, so the first 5 people will get this special price, this discounted price. And we also do payments if you want to do payments. It would be 5 payments of $2,500 if you don't want to do it in full pay.
And I put my calendar in the private because for some reason it's not letting me comment in the main one. So if you could copy and put that in there. So that's my calendar link if someone wants to connect with me directly. and talk about details, more details about the package that we're offering. And I think it's only good through the weekend,
Yes.
the packages. So,
And I don't know for sure how to say your name, but I think it's Zulkarnain. Garnain. Anyway, he would like to have a 15-minute consult with you. So there you go. You can go ahead and sign up at her Calendly.
yeah.
So that you can she can look at your book on Amazon and give you a little bit of coaching on that.
Yeah, put your link on there if you would, in the calendar link. Would be great.
Perfect. But yeah, so you can go to elitebestseller.com. Let's wrap up by talking a little bit more about marketing. So, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm going to get my book published. I've written the book," which is a big feat, right? I mean, that's great that you did that. And then you publish the book and you think you're done. But you're not done, because you have to market the book. If you don't tell anyone that you have a book, how is anyone going to ever go buy it, right?
That's right.
So, we were actually told when we first became authors that you should carry a copy of your book everywhere you go with a Sharpie. And the reason why is because when you meet someone, whether you're on the plane or just at the grocery store or whatever, you could give them a copy of your book and you could sign it, right? So I think it's important that you tell people and market your book, not just say, "Oh, let's put it up on Amazon and hope someone buys it." So that's why we include the social media marketing. That's why we include the how to market your book. And that's why we, in our bigger packages, in our platinum and our gold packages, we actually do marketing for you and market your book so you can get more sales.
Yeah. So, and we talked about, have a plan when you start your book. What is the book for? We talked about your why, which might be more ethereal, like, to change the world and help someone with their life, improve your business, all these different things that could help your family. So I also want you to think about, how does this book tie into something else that I can have a bigger income to? So have that plan. Like, what is it supporting? What is the back end? Do you want to be a speaker? We're working with an author now who's bipolar, and he wants to get the word out about being bipolar. And he was a big time CEO and very well connected to everybody, but he's starting this other part where I want to get on stages and connect with people and talk with people and tell my story to help other people who are bipolar. So that's the other vision outside of the book. So come up with what that is, whether it's paid speaking, whether it's generating leads, and it's not just the royalties. The other part, it's very important to have that social footprint. Have a website, have social media. You don't have to be everywhere, but you have to be where your audience and your target audience is and know who that is. And you may say, well, no one's really clicking on my social media. I don't have that much going on there. And that's okay. The reason is, if someone is checking you out to work with you, they're going to look at all those places and check you out. So even if you have 50 people on there, but I'm thinking, I got this guy's book. I wonder if he can be, is he the back doctor I should go to? Is he the, dog trainer that I should hire? Let me check out all of his social media and see what everything else looks like and get a better idea of who you are, right? It's all about them getting to know who you are. We had an author that was on our podcast, and she booked us on the spot. We had never met her before. She was on our podcast and spent $75,000 with us because she had seen other things that we had done. She already had a connection with us, and we were doing an interview with her. We didn't even know she had checked us out, but because she was being interviewed on our podcast, she did this research on us. So by the time we got on the podcast, she's like, that's what I want. You guys do Wall Street Journal. That's what I want. I want this. I want you to market me. And she just signed the contract right there on the spot. So that's what that can do for you. Even if you don't feel like, well, is anyone really posting on this? But if it's that one person or those 5 people a year that are buying from you, then that's why you want to have it there.
Yeah. Well, let's show them one of our testimonials, and then we can wrap up with the offer one more time.
Okay.
This is Jason Van Camp. I co-authored a book called Authority with Jen and Melanie, and I just have nothing but amazing things to say about Elite Online Publishing. First off, I trust them. There's so many people out there that say that they're going to do something and they don't fulfill it. There's a lot of BS out there. I trust Elite Online Publishing. They said they were going to turn this book into a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and they did it. There's something to be said about that. And I really appreciate that. They're experts. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They've done it before. They've published books. They've marketed books. They're innovative. They're at the cutting edge of technology and so forth. And I really enjoyed working with them. They were professional. They were respectful. Right place, right time, right uniform. As we say in the military. And the process was pretty seamless as well. They provided a checklist. They sent it to me. They followed up frequently with emails. They answered any questions I had. It was awesome. So if you're an author and you're considering working with Elite Online Publishing, I highly, highly recommend it. Jen and Melanie are fantastic. And I'll leave it at that. 5 stars.
Great. Well, we had one other comment, a couple more comments.
Okay.
Lisa's interested in working with us, so she can reach out
Great.
on that Calendly link to meet with Melanie, or just go ahead to elitebestseller.com and check out our great offer today and get a discount. And then we have another one that just says very interesting. So let me share my screen one more time, and Melanie, just want to recap what they get in the ebook. And okay,
To do that.
oh, one more.
And even before she starts, so what you're going to get, most important thing, you're going to get a #1 bestseller Amazon campaign guaranteed to perform and deliver what we say is going to deliver. You're going to become a #1 best-selling author. The next thing is you're going to get coaching calls with our publishing coordinator, and you're going to meet with us. You're going to get a paperback book, which is great because that's something physical you can pass on to somebody. And you're also going to get an ebook in that. And then we're going to work with you to make sure you have an optimized title and subtitle. You're going to get all the keywords on the back end when we upload the book to Amazon. We're going to do beautiful A+ content on there of graphics, the ISBN number, which is a technical thing. Also very important, you're going to get global distribution. Remember, that's what we talked about. You don't want to just be on Amazon. You want to be on Ingram as well. So then all the bookstores, libraries, airports can get your book if they want your book. And then it's really important too, when you're picking a publisher, that you get all your source files. What does that mean? That means when everything is done, we're going to give you a thumb drive. It's going to have all your formatted book files in there, your book cover in there, all the assets we've created for you. We have authors that come to us that they don't have any of that. They worked with another publisher. They want us to do a second edition of their book, but they don't have anything from the first edition, nothing. Or they have the book that they gave them before it was formatted, or they don't have the final edited version. So make sure you get all the final assets when you work with a publisher. Very, very important. It's your content. You own it. You should have all of it. That's what you're paying us for. You're going to get a proof copy, an electronic proof copy, and a paperback proof copy. Then for the marketing, we're going to make sure that your Amazon author page is set up and it's optimized. We're going to do this really crazy, cute, wonderful book video trailer for your book. It's one of Jen's favorite things to work on. So we always make sure you have a great video trailer, and we put it on YouTube, and you'll have it for all your social media. We'll make a media kit for you. This is something you can give to those bookstores. You can pass out to the TV stations, radio stations, podcasters to get you booked on there. A press release. And we're going to send it out. We send it out on the wire, so everybody in the media gets a copy and announces that your book is going to be out and that it's a bestseller. And then you'll get interviewed on our podcast. So, oh my gosh, I just interviewed, Jen and I just had an interview with someone on our podcast. They were so excited. They're a realtor. We did actually talk about real estate. We talked about his transition in life from one career to the next. And he is going to create all these other assets just from the podcast. So think of the credibility of you being on a podcast that someone's interviewing you. Our podcast has been out for 8 years. We have a great track record with our podcast. So you're going to have this asset of this video that can be chopped up into multiple videos. You can get quotes from the transcription. You're provided the transcription from the podcast that you can make social media posts from it of different quotes from it. You can turn it into blog posts. Just such a huge, huge asset that you can do so many things with by having this interview on the podcast. You'll be featured in our bookstore. You're going to be promoted on all our social media. We have 50,000 plus on our social media. You're going to have access to our author portal, which is all the resources and everything that helps walk you through with us, because we're concierge service, that you can go back. You're like, I can't remember what they told me on that call. And we do record our calls, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, they said the resources in the author portal. So you can go in there and get all the resources. And then you'll have part of the author concierge service for 30 days. What is that? Well, Jen mentioned early on, sometimes it's confusing to go in there and order your books. Like, I haven't been in there in a while. How did I order the books? So we do that for you. One of the services is if you have a speaking gig and you need books in St. Louis, Missouri, then we'll make the order for you. You just give us the address of where they go and we place the order for you. We can update the cover for you. We can update the manuscript. If you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have changes. I want to change my call to action in my book, or, I need to change this paragraph a little bit in the book, then we do that for you. So there's a whole list of things that are involved in the concierge service. And then the social media playbook. That is huge. So you have direction and you know what you're doing. You have the calendar, because you're like, okay, I know I'm supposed to post, but what should I post about? So we give you a whole calendar that gives you ideas of a whole layout of what you can post every day of the month, the hashtag, secret, and social media tips that we use. And then we're going to kickstart you by giving you 10 social media posts done for you, that you'll already have 10 social media posts. And we say if you post 3 times a week, that gives you almost enough for a whole month right there. So that's kind of what's included. Just $500 deposit today gets you started, and then 5 payments of $2,500, or you have the option to pay it all in full. So normally we charge $15,000 for this, and it doesn't include any of those bonuses. So we would love to work with you. We hope you're the kind of person that we'd want to have coffee with or hang out with, because that's who we're looking to work with, is that type of person, and an action taker. So that's the thing. If you're the person who's always procrastinating and, not motivated, then you're not really our person. We're looking for highly motivated people, action takers that really want to get their book done and want to be with a system and processes and a company that can get it done in a really fast amount of time. And it's going to be done right. So that's who we're looking for to work with.
Awesome. Well, check it out at elitebestseller.com. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach us on our website, eliteonlinepublishing.com, or here on social media, leave a comment in the YouTube feed or the LinkedIn or Facebook. We have this streaming on all of those places.
And I just want to tell you a little bit about Jen and I, in case, not everyone takes the time to read the bio. So not to toot our own horns, but just so you know our background. So my background is that I started as a news anchor. So I was on TV and I worked in the auto shows, and I was a commercial actress. I worked with Tim Allen back in the day. And also I owned and operated 2 TV stations that were worth $100 million. I ran a $100 million company. So I know business. I know that part of the world. I know how to transition things. I was left with 2 houses facing my former husband left bankruptcy. I turned those into 6-figure rentals before there was Airbnb. And then what everyone always says, oh, I can't believe that. And I almost never tell people, but I was Miss Michigan and I was first runner up to Miss America. So that's just a little taste of my background and what I bring to the table.
Yeah. And I can tell you a little bit about mine. So I have been in sales in retail. I had 20 kiosks with my former husband all over in California and Utah. So we sold retail. I've owned lots of different businesses. I have an entrepreneurship background. My grandfather started an oil company, a gas station line. So if you know, or if you ever go to Maverick Country Stores, that was my grandfather who started that. And so I've been in a family that's always done business. And so besides the retail stores, I started my web design company in 2005, and then marketing as well. So digital marketing, I've been doing that since 2005, since the internet was around. I mean, I'm so old. I used to be on MySpace. So, but so I have a track record. I know the ins and outs of video marketing, the ins and outs of being number 1 on Google, which is similar to being number 1 on Amazon, right? So Amazon is a search engine. And so that's what I know how to get number 1. And I don't know what else to say, but yeah, so I'm also a mom. I have 3 kids, and Melanie also has 2 kids. So we're single moms. We know how to what do you call it? Manage multiple things at a time. So I don't know what you call that. Not ADD, but we do like to. We can manage multiple things at a time because we know how to do that.
We're very dedicated to what we do, and we have a lot of tenacity. And just like with Nicole's book, we never give up, right? If something goes wrong, we never give up. So we're there for you. We're here, and we'd like for you to be part of our Elite Online Publishing family if you're a good fit for us. And we look forward to working from you and hearing from you. And I can't wait to meet you in person. If you've jumped on my calendar link or if you've signed up, then you'll have your first publishing meeting real soon, next week. So looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.